Welcome to On With The Motley, the show where we take a friend of ours who is not familiar with a subject we are passionate about and break it down for them. As always, I am your ringmaster, Liam, and today I am joined by my friends Megan and Jen. Say hello, guys.
No, I don't want to.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. I'll say hi.
And which one are you, voice in the darkness?
That's Jen.
No, it's not Jen. Don't do this to me. This is the first episode. People really need to know what's going on here.
I'm Megan, the cooperative one. I'll always be cooperative and never uncooperative. That's what people say
Oh.
about me.
I'll hold
Yeah.
you to that. Yeah.
People are saying that.
I'm Jen, the also definitely cooperative one, and I never instigate anything ever. And I'm so happy to be here, guys. Wow.
Yeah. See, I'm cooperating with Jen right now when I'm saying that I agree with her.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Cooperative.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
true.
Mhm.
Now, fellas, buddies, amigos, pals, as you both know, every episode our ringleader asks everyone to bring a drink themed around our subject for the day. That subject today, of course, being supreme leader of Latvaria, the very disputed smartest man in the world, the master of scientific and the mystical, Dr. Victor Von Doom. So let me ask you, what drinks do you have for us today?
So for my drink, I had already explained this to Mr. Liam earlier, but I will explain it for you now, Megan, and also, I guess, the audience.
Wow.
I have brought a lime jarritos or jarritos, however you pronounce it. It's like a Mexican soda, and I had the great because all I know about Doctor Doom is like he's green, and his name, his name, his name like Doom. That's pretty ominous, like kind of like blood. Blood's pretty ominous. So I also brought some pomegranate juice. And in my brain, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make a layered drink. So like the bottom, it's gonna look so cool. The bottom's gonna be like red from like for the Doom part, and then it's gonna have the layer of green on top, and it's gonna look so cool. And then
So
I
what did
made
you?
the drink.
Yeah, what did you actually create?
I didn't realize that the density of the liquids were not as different as I thought. So we've kind of ended up with
Megan,
just
would you?
red drink.
Megan, would you describe what we're looking at here?
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's red. It's red. It's a very charming red color. I think it's a very
It's a
like
very charming
Doom
red.
kind of red
Thank
is
you.
what I would
There's a
describe it as.
The
there's
straw's
a
green.
Yeah,
the
straw's
straw is
green.
green, which is it's giving such Bloody Mary to me because it's like the straw.
It looks like celery.
It looks like celery, exactly.
Well, and I used these like my fridge makes these giant orb ice cubes. So I thought that would be fun. I think I poured too much pomegranate juice. I originally wanted to find like grenadine syrup, but I couldn't find it at the store, so I thought pomegranate
Feel
juice
free
would
to
be okay.
stop the entire train of thought whenever you're finished with that one and ready to prepare another one, and we'll see how it goes, all right?
Yeah, I will. Once I finish this drink, I brought both the bottles, so I'm going to try again, maybe with a little bit less pomegranate juice. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to chug both bottles separately.
Oh, hell yeah.
What about you, Megan? What have you got for us?
Well,
Yeah.
I know slightly more about Doom. I know that he is green, and he is also a machine. And so I have brought Naked Juice Green Machine. It is a very delightful Doom green and a kind of like a dusty green kind of vibe.
Oh yeah.
He's also
one thing I know about
that cloak, which is why I brought Naked Juice.
One thing, two things.
Learning so much.
Two things I know about Dr. Doom. He's dusty and he's naked. So
and he's green and a machine. Okay, I know about the Doom bots. I've read maybe two issues with Dr. Doom in them. So
yeah,
I'm basically an expert.
It's two more issues than I've read.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I actually made a cocktail for my drink here. I've got a very nice green looking martini. I call it a Doomstadt, and it is a sour green apple appletini, basically a virgin appletini, and I am quite taken with it.
So what
That's
happens if
that's
you
me
would add
drinking.
like a splash of milk to that?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I
that
feel
would
like
make
if
it
you
like way better.
added one, I think it's one ingredient away from being a Shrek teeny.
It's a Schreckstadt is what I call it. Is what I call it
A
when you
Schreckstadt. Just a
Infinitely
little bit of milk.
superior, I would say.
I think both are bad. I've tried both, and both were bad. It
It's
just
just too
tasted like a
sugary for
melted
you.
candy apple. It is too
I
sugary.
I quite like it. It is very intense, but when you get the right level of lime in it, it's got a nice little sour kick to it that I think is very fitting for Doctor Doom. It's got
You know,
complexity to it, you know.
Well, I don't know, because mine says that there's no sugar added. You know, so it's a very sweet drink, and I don't think that you're really vibing with it. It also says the goodness inside, which I don't think vibes well with the tartness either. So I think that mine is right.
Megan,
we'll
this
see.
has got so many layers. I feel like I've already learned the most I've learned about Doctor Doom just from the drink that you've brought.
Just like your drink, Jen, it's got layers, or it's supposed to.
It's supposed to have layers. It's supposed to have layers. I swear, it looks so cool in my head.
This is an
all right, guys.
Podcast. We could have just lied.
And said
it looks so cool.
Man.
All right. Without further ado, on with the Motley. So
a doom.
Without further ado, you're right. Missed opportunity for me there. Okay, so let me ask you guys both, starting with Jen. What do you know about Doctor Doom? Tell me everything that comes to mind when I tell you that character. Mm-hmm.
He's green.
No. Yeah. All right, good. I think we covered it in your drink, but go ahead and reiterate it for everyone too.
He's green. Mm-hmm. He's got a skull face, but you also showed me a panel, and he looked like a normal guy. Yeah. But also, I thought he had a skull face, and also apparently Robert Downey Jr. is gonna be him, which I don't know how that's gonna work, because I thought, isn't he Iron Man? But
well, Doom has his mask on all the time, so we don't ever have to see that man's face.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but
I promise we'll talk more about the casting. But do you know what superheroes he's usually paired up with?
Paired
like who's he
shipped with?
Who's he usually fighting in his comics?
Who's the Doctor Doom X for OTP? What's the #1 Doctor Doom ship?
I would say a joke.
Yaoi only.
But it would spoil it for
you.
You don't know who he fights.
We'll get into it. All right.
I assume that he fights non-Doom things.
Oh wow, you've really nailed it. You really hit the nail on the head here.
What's the opposite of Doom?
Life.
Hope. He fights Hope.
The Hope Squad.
Wow, yeah. I love the Hope Squad, famous Marvel team created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Yeah,
that's
what about you, Megan? What do you know about Doctor Doom?
Well, Doctor Doom once trapped Loki in a stasis cube in Loki, Agent of Asgard, the best comic series to ever exist. Furthermore, I grew up reading. Not as extensively as the X-Men encyclopedia, but I grew up reading the Fantastic Four encyclopedia, so not only do I know that he usually fights the Fantastic Four, I also know that he and Reed Richards have a torrid love affair going on, and it keeps on ending horribly, and they're very bitter exes about it, but they keep on getting back together and then being bitter exes while they're together, and then breaking up and being even bitterer exes after that. And it's just a really toxic situation. They're kind of doomed, a doomed romance.
Doomed romance.
That's crazy.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I'm not going to confirm or deny any of that, but what I will do.
Oh right, my dad's also obsessed with him.
Yes, yes, and we'll be mentioning your father later on. I've got a slide that's dedicated to him. Yeah, hi, Dad.
Slide dedicated to my father.
All right, so
Green.
first up, Victor Von Doom, aka Doctor Doom, is one of Marvel Comics' oldest and most famous villains. He is a technologist, a master sorcerer, conqueror, and one of the most intelligent life forms in all of the Marvel galaxy slash universe, etc.
Whoa.
Over his 60 years of publication history, he's been a villain, a complicated villain, a monster, a complicated hero, and the savior and god emperor of all of existence.
That's like every comic hero, though.
That
like
doesn't
everyone's been the
sound-
savior and god emperor of all existence at one point or another.
Spider-Man's been Captain Universe before, so like, yeah, you're so is Venom. Like,
Yeah, so is
absolutely.
Venom. You just told me about this.
I called you about that today. Many people look at Doom and see the silly man with a silly name dressed in green that he is, but he's also much more than that. Doom, for all of his faults, remains one of the most fascinating characters in all of comics.
Wow.
Today, we are going to be going over the real world history of the creation of the character. We're going to go through his first appearance in detail, and then a couple different versions of his origin that are more or less the same, but have a couple of interesting elements to them. Then we're going to go into one of my favorite Doctor Doom stories. I think most people's favorite Doctor Doom story, Triumph and Torment with Doctor Strange. We're going to go through that in some detail. And then really quickly, we're going to touch on Doom War issue 254 of the Fantastic Four back in the 80s. And then we're also going to cover the 2019 and infamous Iron Man run because I like those ones a lot. Well, I have mixed feelings on some of them, but also I think it's important for...
You've got mixed feelings. You love them.
I like them a lot.
You
maybe.
love them.
Yeah, I
in a
love
mixed
those.
way.
Yeah, in like a mixed feeling way.
Ooh, I like the coloring on this one.
Yeah, would you like to describe it for the people who are only listening through audio?
Yeah, use your words, funny man.
Well,
would you say it's green?
Yeah, it's green. He's green, but he's like standing on top of this wall, and there's like this mountain in the back, and it's like at sunset, and it looks very nice.
Yeah.
I usually don't like comic art, like the airbrush styles that most comics are colored. I like this though.
You're going to see some pretty interesting variation, I think, and there's definitely going to be a couple of panels that I think you're going to be like, ooh. So real world history of the character. Dr. Doom's first appearance was in Fantastic Four #5 back in 1962. That's how early in general comics that he showed up. The Fantastic Four were one of the first, they're Marvel's first family, and they were one of the first like consistent runs that they did, and he was introduced as early as issue #5. He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Not long after his creation, Stan Lee quickly realized that Doctor Doom was set to be his all-time favorite villain, and he continued to maintain that well through his life up until his death. Jack Kirby once theorized of the character. He's a handsome man. He knows he's handsome, but he's got one little scratch, which kind of ruins his whole personality.
Now, when you say Jack Kirby, the creator of Doom, theorized this about his character, what in the godforsaken hell are you talking about?
Well, I will elaborate on that a little bit later, but
I have a question.
Yes.
Jack Kirby.
Yes.
He's
Nintendo?
He's just another Kirby from Pollo. He's another. I know Stan Lee. Jack Kirby's just another creator.
Jack Kirby's kind of the second big name at early Marvel. Stan Lee was
Marvel fans.
Stan Lee was the writer for a lot of stuff. Sorry, Marvel fans. Well, that's what we're doing here. We're turning you into one of those.
Thank you.
No.
I've seen the movies. That's
Jen, stay safe. Stay away.
So Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were pretty much the dynamic duo that were responsible for a lot of really famous Marvel characters way back in the early days. Jack Kirby, if you've seen like classic 60s comic book art, it's probably Jack Kirby. It might also be Steve Ditko, who's like the third big name.
Okay.
Stan Lee was kind of attached to a lot of different stuff, but Jack Kirby, I think, literally Jack Kirby in the Marvel universe, it is implied that the one above all, who is the multiversal god of all of the Marvel multiverse stuff. That guy is implied to be Jack Kirby.
Can you name one other
Source.
hero that he is known for my
Uh,
reference?
yeah.
As you frantically Google, I
He's
can see you
he's
Googling.
okay. Well,
Like a
without
bunch.
googling, I'm not touching. Here's the thing: I know a bunch of characters, but they would mean nothing to you. He's responsible for at Marvel. He's responsible for the Eternals, which
Yeah, Jen, you know the
mean
Eternals, right?
you know the
I know
Eternals.
that was a
Yeah.
TV show I never watched,
No,
but
it was not.
it had that really pretty. Oh, is it not? Oh,
No, it's not.
What was that TV show with the girl, the lady from Crazy
Uh-huh.
Rich Asians, the really pretty lady? Never mind. Go Google.
He was
Googling
also
faster.
at DC. He was responsible for the whatchamacallit,
Yeah.
the new gods, which
Yeah.
include like Darkseid and a couple other characters over there. He was
Yeah.
responsible for Ant-Man, Peggy Carter.
Oh,
He
I
was
know
at
that
least
one.
involved in them. Yeah.
I know those
Uh,
ones.
It's so
most of
funny that you
the
started with the Eternals and the New Gods. You're like, yeah, this is good for Jen. Jen will know
I
these
didn't
ones.
I didn't know the other ones off the top of my head. Those were the only ones that I knew. I had to Google the other ones. Black Panther. He was
Oh,
Black
I know that one.
Panther. The Inhumans, like Black Bolt. He was
Wakanda
involved in
Forever.
Captain America.
Nice.
Lots
Cool.
of other stuff. Some
Okay.
character, it says Dr. Druid. I don't know.
That's
I don't know that
Dr.
one.
Doom's weird cousin.
I'd say definitely his most famous creation is the Fantastic Four. But he's pretty influential, especially in early Marvel, and what Marvel looks like today. A lot of it is Jack Kirby. But
cool.
he as the artist was not responsible for all the writing. So there are a couple of things that he puts forward about Doom that we'll talk about that are things that he theorized about the character but was never directly introduced by him. For example, he also said of the character, Doom is an evil person, but he's not always been evil. He was respected, but through a flaw in his own character, he was a perfectionist. That was his big fatal flaw. So we're gonna start our actual like going through of what Doom's going on with here, with his first appearance. This is Fantastic Four #5. Now, I've got the cover up for you guys. For those in audio, can you guys go ahead and describe what the cover looks like here?
Megan, you describe it. I describe the. Yeah, I mean.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. I'll do a little bit more than that.
Yeah, you go, Megan. I described the last one.
So it says it's 12 cents, which if you've tried to buy comics at any point recently, you will be weeping in envy. It's 12 cents. Approved by the Comics Code Authority. You know there's nothing fun in there. And it says...
Oh, you'll be surprised.
The Fantastic Four meet Dr. Doom. And then there's like this like this orb with Dr. Doom in it. I don't know what the orb is. And he's saying, with a turn of this dial, I shall destroy the four of you. 2 exclamation marks.
Nice voice work.
Yes, thank you. And then we've got Reed Richards, which for all the people at home who are like Jen, is Mr. Fantastic. He's stretchy.
Oh,
he's
stretchy
out a long arm. And he's pointing at the orb, and he's going like, I've got to reach him. He's draining the air out of the room.
He's Jack Reacher.
My strength is ebbing.
Edging?
My strength is edging. Ooh. Look, we're not going to talk about Namor the Submariner today, all right? We're not getting into that. We're not getting into it. We're not getting into it. I told you. We'll save it for another day.
Reed Richards, of course. And then we've got the Thing. He's the giant rock man, and he's saying, air!
I know that one.
I gotta have air. And then we've got Johnny Storm. He's the one that's on fire.
Do you know what his superhero name is?
The Human Torch.
Fireman.
With Spider-Man. And he's trying to shoot the orb, but it's not working. And he's saying, my flame is dying without oxygen. I'm helpless. And then Sue Storm, Mrs. Fantastic, or the Invisible Woman? Which
Invisible Woman. At this point in the comics, she was just the Invisible Girl.
Invisible Girl. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sue.
Also,
really
last name Storm.
Yes, she's married
Oh,
to Reed Richards.
but her brother
No,
is the Human
her
Torch.
brother is Johnny Storm.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was like,
She's married to
whoa.
Reed. Hang on, that doesn't explain the last name at all. No. I know facts about these characters, but I can't put them into a human context. So Sue Storm, for some reason, she's like off in some metal box off to the side that doesn't seem to be connected at all with the airless room, and she's tied up, even though she's invisible. So I don't know who tied her up. And she's like, "I must get in to save them, but how? How?" And that's what the cover looks like.
Yeah, right on. Okay,
Very nice.
Is
so
that like thorough enough,
given
or should I start talking
that
about
was,
like color scheme?
I think that was excellent, actually.
Okay.
Good job, Megan. What are you, some
I'd
kind of
like
writer?
now,
Not a talker though.
now, based on this cover, what do you think's going to happen in Doctor Doom's first appearance? It can
I
be
think
as
he's
brief or
gonna
as long as you like.
asphyxiate
Give-
them.
Okay, all right. You think he's going to asphyxiate them?
Unless this is a Silver Age comic, in which case I think they lie a lot in Silver Age comic covers, and they're just like, we're just gonna do whatever, and then the
This
context
is
of the comics will not have anything to do with that at all.
this is indeed Silver Age.
Uh-oh. And I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, just from the cover, I think with a turn of that dial, he's going to destroy the four of them forever.
Okay, all right.
So, you know.
Yeah. What do you think's going to, like, plot-wise? This is a moment. What do you think's going to be the plot of this?
They're gonna meet Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A safe bet.
We're really good at this.
You know,
I don't know, he seems like a bad guy.
He's a bad guy. He's gonna do bad guy things, probably.
Yeah,
right.
I
Well,
mean, because aren't the
I-
Fantastic Four the good guys?
I
But,
appreciate you
know.
guys putting zero effort into this one, but you know, it's all right. We've got plenty more for you to work around.
It's a Silver Age comic cover, which means we don't know what's in there. Theoretically,
That's
what
true.
happens is that Dr. Doom traps them in a room and tries to drag the air out of it, while Sue Storm is helpless in a metal
Gotcha.
room. But like,
Gotcha. So
God knows if
your
that's
prediction,
true.
your prediction is that that's the plot. That's the whole thing.
No, my
Yes.
prediction is it's
Okay.
nothing like that.
It's nothing like
Oh.
that. All right. Well, we'll
That's what
see.
the cover
We'll see as we
implies.
get
I don't
going.
trust it.
So, Fantastic Four number 5. We open with Johnny Storm and the Hulk. Johnny Storm is reading a comic book of the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, which was releasing right around this time. Reed asks him what he's reading, and Johnny says, "A great new comic mag, Reed. Say, you know something? I'll be doggone if this monster doesn't remind me of the Thing."
Oh my god.
Johnny Storm and the Thing immediately get into a fist fight. Reed shouts, "What's the matter with us? If we aren't fighting some menace to mankind, we'll end up fighting ourselves." Immediately after that, a menace to mankind enters the scene.
Oh, okay. Yay.
The power to the Baxter building, where that's their headquarters, which I don't think was even called that at the time. It was just the tower, goes out, and an asbestos net is dropped over the entirety of the building.
Asbestos?
How is that?
Stuck in
How
popcorn ceilings?
how do you make? How is that?
Well,
Is it
you
a-
see,
Oh,
it's a
What?
genius move by the villain of the story because it's fireproof. It's fire
Oh.
retardant.
it's flame retardant. That's smart. That's why they
Ah.
put asbestos and everything back in the day. Before
Uh,
the incident.
A voice rings out. A voice rings out and makes a demand of the Fantastic Four, and Reed immediately recognizes the voice as a person that he knew in college. He knew the guy's name was.
You see,
Some
he had a
guy.
love affair, so that's why he recognizes his voice.
There is a
Oh.
surprising amount of retcons on whether or not Doctor Doom and Reed were roommates, or if one of them asked the other to be a roommate and the other flatly rejected it and they hated each other the rest of the time.
Oh my god! Okay, so
It goes
And
back
they
and
were
forth all the time.
roommates.
No,
Oh
I've got
my
this.
god,
I
they
figured it
were
out.
roommates.
Freshman year,
Okay.
they were roommates. They had a torrid love affair. Reed Richards was really not feeling it because he's a bit of a bitch. So sophomore year, darling Victor Von Doom is like, twirls hair. Hey Reed, so we were talking about like room assignments and like maybe we could like room together again. And Reed was like, anyways, I've met this girl. Her name is Sue Storm. Bye. And then Victor Von Doom was evil from then on.
That was his canon event.
That was his canon event. That was his Voldemort.
Oh, it all makes all right. End the podcast now, guys. I feel like I've learned everything I need to know.
So I've actually on the screen for visual or for audio listeners, I've actually got the 6 panels that were the entirety of his backstory on screen right now at the time. They're not super important for you to be able to understand visually because I'm going to go over more or less what happens in them. But Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom, was Reed's classmate who was into a bunch of weird magic shit. Reed knew that he was a brilliant scientist in college who also happened to know black magic.
As you do.
While he was in college, he was trying to do some weird magic science shit. He was trying to put magic and science together, and it fucking exploded. It fucked up his face, and he was expelled from the college for blowing up a part of the college.
That's why Reed didn't like him anymore. He's really petty. He's so like superficial, and he's like, "Oh my god, you're ugly now. Ew."
I do really love that you are 100% Team Doom in this already.
I don't know what my anti-Reed Richards bias is. It might be from you complaining about him recently. But
I do complain about him a lot.
That.
I love Reed Richards as a character, but especially early on, he was such an asshole. Are you all right there, Jen?
I wanted to update you guys. I tried again.
Okay.
It's a little bit better.
It looks like you're
my
drinking
drink
mud
is
now.
a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit more what I imagined, but not quite. Anyways, continue.
After Dr. Doom blew up his face and was expelled, he vanished into Tibet seeking black magic forbidden arts. And now the sinister genius is hovering above us. This could well be the prelude to the most dangerous adventure of our career. This is issue number 5.
Oh.
Well,
shit.
That, isn't hard, but
Dr. Doom takes Sue Storm hostage because Invisible Girl in this era was extremely useless. And Ben Grimm, the Thing, calls out, "Listen, Doom or Goon or whatever you call yourself." Doom ends up flying them all in a hot pink helicopter that looks like a shark for some reason to a hidden castle base somewhere in the area.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why Sue Storm get kidnapped all the time if she can just turn invisible and not get kidnapped? Is she stupid?
Megan, I know the answer. Women.
Woman.
Woman.
In this specific instance,
woman.
In this specific instance, Doom actually asks that he takes Sue as hostage. He's got the asbestos net over the building, and he's like, "I'm not going to let any of you go." Yes, he goes, "I'm not going to let any of you go. I'm not going to let any of you go unless you give me Sue Storm as a hostage." And they're like, "Oh shit, well, I guess we gotta."
So that's how she gets tied up on the cover? He was like, "Hey, Sue Storm, please." And they were like, "Damn, we gotta give."
You are being a little bit mean. I'm reading what's on the screen. Sue was the one who said, "No, I need to go." They didn't
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
must be nice.
All right. I can't read.
We've got things happening here. So, oh, sorry. They say of the building, the castle, when they see it, it's a regular fortress. It's very silly to me. It doesn't mean anything. We don't know who said this line. It could have been Reed. It could have been Johnny. It could have been Dr. Doom. We don't know who said it, but somebody said of the castle that he's living in, it's a regular fortress.
Yeah,
what is a regular fortress? Who knows?
It's a regular fortress. I would like to note, this is very important to me, there's a tiger. Doom has a tiger next to his throne.
Yeah.
That we're seeing.
He's doing a big stretch.
The panel that we've got here is the Fantastic Four minus Sue are standing on a big yellow rectangle. And They're shouting at Doom. Doom is sitting in a very uncomfortable looking like chair, and he's 100% red and black for some reason. And he's on one hand he's stroking a tiger, and on another hand, Sue Storm is just tied up with rope next to him, standing. And
you didn't even tie her legs either. She's standing there.
The thing goes, well, what are we waiting for? Let's rush him. And Johnny goes, we can't, Thing. We promise not to attack him till we hear him out. And Doom says, you are wise to restrain yourselves. Fast though you may be, my little pet here is faster. He was going to stick the tiger on them if they attacked him.
Yes.
That's metal.
Now, you might be wondering, why on earth has Doom gone through this elaborate plan that requires an asbestos net to kidnap the Fantastic Four?
No, I understand perfectly what the
Megan already explained it, Liam.
What evil plan could he have for his first appearance?
Well, he wants to get back at his ex.
Doom wants to send most of the Fantastic Four back in time to steal Blackbeard's treasure.
Oh.
That's it.
What the fuck? What?
Time travel arc begin!
Why? He couldn't have just asked? He had to trap them? Right? I feel like any sane person would say yes.
I promise you, no matter how much you think you know where this is going, you do not know where this is going.
I love the face he's making in this panel too. It really
emoji. I love how Reed in the next panel, just full of horror, goes like, he means it, and it's like, this is just a fun little, like, this is basically Magic School Bus. What's happening to you right now?
I have successfully developed the most incredible invention of the age, an actual time machine device.
Time machine device.
Time travel
device.
And I want you to go centuries into the past and obtain the legendary treasure of Blackbeard for me.
Why Blackbeard specifically? Like, I feel like if you were going to rob a place for money, there are so many other options that aren't legends that are real, for reals. Confirmed.
Johnny asks an excellent question, Jen, that you asked yourself earlier. Why don't you just go and get the treasure for yourself? And Doom has an obvious answer for you. I can't. I have to stay here and operate the machine, obviously.
He's got a tiger and everything. Come on.
Why doesn't he have, like, Goonies to do that for him? Like every other super guy. What the fuck?
They're having so much fun.
Bro.
Friends at home. They are doing dress up, and Johnny is so excited. He's saying, this is Kane. I feel like Errol Flynn. Like, it's just Magic School Bus. Everyone have a good time and shut up.
He looks so cute.
Would you like to describe the panel on the far right as well for us?
Yes. Reed is putting like a pirate headband, a pirate eye patch, a pirate hat. He's giving this man hair on the thing. He's got a long locks now and a long black beard. And then he says, there, you look like a real natural. And the Thing, we're having a bad time, by the way. This is an evil plan by the villain. So anyways, the Thing says, say, this feels pretty good. I just have to shut up. Doom is great. He said he had a fun little field trip.
So this implies that he had these costumes prepared for them.
No. So this is after they've time traveled. Arriving in the past, the Fantastic Four waste no time in getting silly little pirate disguises. They find a bunch of pirates that were unloading stolen clothing, and they beat up the pirates and take the clothes.
Oh my god!
Which apparently contained false hair and false beards as well.
Yeah.
The Thing is getting really into it. Him especially is like, this is rad. I'm having so much fun. Right after that, they go to a bar or like a tavern and are trying to figure out what to do next, and they are immediately drugged and taken hostage by a group of pirates.
The Fantastic Four?
Yes.
The guy
Well,
who can set
three
himself
of the
on fire?
Fantastic Four.
Right
Oh,
now.
sorry, the Fantastic Three, I guess.
Yeah, they just slipped something into the Fantastic Four's drinks and they passed out, and now they're on a pirate ship.
Okay, that's one.
When they wake up, when they wake up, they immediately kick the shit out of the pirates and spot a very large pirate ship in the distance firing at them for literally no reason. One of them, I think Reed, declares, "It must be Blackbeard's ship." There is no reason to assume this whatsoever.
Well, it's Blackbeard's ship.
It's Blackbeard's ship.
Ben Grimm, the Thing, leads the pirates that captured them to victory against the other pirate ship, and soon enough, the pirates start calling the Thing a silly little nickname. Go ahead and will somebody read the panel to the right for me, please?
The second one?
Yes.
Yeah, the second panel.
It's well, I want. It's cute because the first panel says "Yahoo!" in big bold letters, big pink letters. It's very cute. And a few minutes later, hooray for the mighty bearded one! Hooray for Blackbeard! Hail Blackbeard, scourge of the. Does the Thing end up being Blackbeard in history?
So they find that a treasure chest on the ship that they just captured, and realizing that Ben Grimm is and always has been Blackbeard in history. Now that they have a treasure and Ben Grimm is Blackbeard, the treasure that they have must be Blackbeard's treasure. That's probably what they're after. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And this is why it was never found, because we already brought it back to the future, like, immediately.
No.
No?
Man,
this was so simple to me.
Reed decides that whatever Doom wants with this money, it can't be good. So he decides that he's going to split the treasure evenly amongst the pirates and just fill the treasure chest with like heavy iron chains so that Doom can't actually have his money.
Okay.
Doom like check. That's like what literally every guy does every time he's like, "Oh, and where's the hostage money?
Well,
Give me the suitcase," and then he counts the dollar bills to make sure.
No, it could very easily be like turns out the legends, weren't true. It was just chains.
It was just filled with chains.
Also, like, what? Doom could have just robbed a bank or something if he wanted money. Like, why?
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Go back in time.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
It's gonna be funnier. It's gonna be funnier.
This is already really fucking funny, so it better be.
They decide that they want to go back to the future, except Blackbeard or the Thing decides, he says, "You two can go back if you wanna. As for me, I like it here."
Sir?
Johnny goes, Reed, he actually enjoys being Blackbeard, but he can't remain here in the past. Why can't I stay? The future holds nothing for me. In the 20th century, I'm nothing but a monster, a freak. But here, I'm somebody. I'm a leader of men. I'm a captain. I'm the guy who started the legend of Blackbeard. The kids will read about me in school someday. I ain't giving this up, never. And his face in the panel that he says all of this is everything to me.
He's so impassioned by this.
Honestly, from what I know about the Thing, he genuinely is just like so miserable living his day-to-day life. I think we should leave him here. I think it would be cool not to leave him here. He makes a good point.
Reed Richards is nothing if not cruel, so...
I know. I hate this man, I think.
So Blackbeard has Reed and Johnny subdued by his pirates and is about to put him in a lifeboat and launch them out to sea, when suddenly a storm wrecks the ship and probably kills everybody on board.
Oh.
Somehow, the Thing washes up on shore despite being made of rocks, and Reed drags Johnny to safety.
Damn.
He's made of pumice rocks, specifically.
Ben immediately regrets the whole "I was going to abandon you to the cold, heartless sea" thing and agrees to go back with the rest of them. Now that his whole Blackbeard crew got insta-killed the second after he committed to staying, he's not into it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
Johnny,
yeah, yes, but also Jesus, come on,
Man.
Johnny also finds the treasure chest filled with chains that also did not sink and instead washed up on shore.
Physics. Yes.
Johnny finds the chest, and Doom brings them back to the present, declaring they've had enough time.
Oh my god!
What if they didn't?
Blackbeard's treasure. That would be so funny if they were like, we were working on it. And he's like, you had 5 hours.
You had
What,
like 20 minutes, you guys. I can't express enough. This is like maybe 15 pages that all of this goes down on. Like, this is not a lot of time for these things to transpire. So, Doom. You're looking at
the second panel is, you know, I had to do it to him.
You know, I had to doom it to him.
You know, I had to doom it to him.
Dr. Doom reveals that inside the chest were powerful gemstones that belonged to Merlin, and those gems could give him the power to rule the world. Whoever has the Merlin's gems would be invincible. However, Reed Richards has just unceremoniously dumped the powerful gemstones into the ocean to never be seen again. So Doom is understandably a little pissed about that.
I can't get over his fucking face in the second panel.
It's so much.
He has this like this edition of Doctor Doom has like the medieval like slats,
like eye slats, middle.
Yeah, and his eyes are just so. You know, or they look right at you. He's rubbing his hands, like, his little greedy hands together.
He looks like Randall from Recess. Like,
he does. He just, and the fact that he doesn't have, like, they didn't draw his torso or his arms.
No, it's just his head and his hands.
It's just his head and his
hands.
I do love.
To me.
This is such a Jack Kirby classic. He got really into like Xeroxing backgrounds in his later career, but like the first panel, he draws a cobblestone floor and then just a stark one color background behind the Fantastic Four, and then no background behind Doom when it's just his hands and his hands, and then his helmet and his hands, and then the final panel is just his disembodied body with one color and the treasure chest with one color on a pure void.
That's Dr. Doom in the last.
That's Dr. Doom.
He looks so silly without the cape.
Yeah.
A struggle ensues, and Susan Storm, turning invisible, pulls some random levers and it ends up exploding Dr. Doom. This is, I will say, after he traps them in a room without any oxygen. So your prediction is correct. Yeah.
Well, my prediction was wrong, actually, because I thought that nothing like that would happen.
Even though Sue, like, straight up detonates Dr. Doom, he turns out to be fine, and everyone escapes from each other, thinking that they got their ass kicked. I cannot stress enough that everybody individually leaves this situation thinking that they lost. The end. What I find really interesting about this is, despite the fact that it's Doom's first appearance, that his backstory is only 6 panels, that his motivation is weird, and so much of it focuses on the legend of Blackbeard. The character is more or less fully formed here. Like, they're going to do a lot of more interesting things with him over time, but like most of his origin, most of the major beats are there. Granted, there's a lack of context to it, but he's still into magic and science. And he still he has a time machine. That's a super important thing about his character. A lot of the like elements of him are there. As you will note, there was no dictator element to it. He's not yet a ruler, nor is he really that complicated. Right now, he's just kind of a guy.
I would posit, though, that he does have like a regular fortress. So like
he does have a regular fortress, yes.
Dude, he's got like crocodiles and a moat.
Crocodiles,
which thick as hell.
He burns that regular fortress down in this issue. It's not his normal fortress. It's just another one that he has.
So he's got multiple fortresses, almost like one would say a ruler might have.
Perhaps, perhaps there is definitely nothing that contradicts that he might be a leader of a nation. It's just not mentioned in this. So, next up, we're going to go over Doom's origin. First covered in Fantastic Four Annual number 2 way back in 1964. So that's 2 years after his creation. The most widely accepted version of the story comes from the Books of Doom in around about 2005. I'm going to be using elements from both of those, as well as a couple of other sources that have talked about it in throwaways to discuss what his actual origin is here. But Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom, grew up in the Latvarian mountains, the son of a Romani healer and a witch. He lived a simple and happy. He lived simply and happily, but from very early on, it was clear that Victor was smarter than any boy his age should be. It has been established multiple times that he has a perfect memory that stretches back to his time in the womb. He can remember what it was like being in the womb. I don't know why.
Such a detail.
That is a real thing, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah. I could be wrong. I think it's a very real thing of like a very rare case where people can remember what it was like
that's
being in the womb and being birthed. Not like quite a photographic memory, but like
just having it
similar.
Stretched back. Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I can't be super certain, but I think that's a thing for sure.
His mother.
They're gonna pass this time.
His mother, fearful of the oppressive monarchy that continued to persecute her Roma people, made a deal with the demon Mephisto, which in the Marvel universe, Mephisto is basically the devil. He's not the devil because the devil doesn't exist, but he's anytime anybody is talking about the devil in Marvel universe, they're probably talking about Mephisto.
So is Mephisto approved by the Comics Code Authority?
Well, we
is that the way around it, where they can't talk about
probably
Satan, but they can say Mephisto?
that honestly was probably part of the motivation behind it. Yeah,
probably.
Like Ghost Rider, if you know Ghost Rider famously, his backstory is that he made a deal with the devil to save his father dying of cancer. That was Mephisto. When Spider-Man sold his marriage to the devil, that was Mephisto. Like most of the time, if you're talking about the devil, we'll get into that someday, Jen. I promise.
What?
We'll get into it. I promise you someday.
Jesus.
Someday I'm gonna make you listen to me talk about Spider-Man for like 5 hours straight.
Okay. Oh God.
His mother made a deal with Mephisto to grant her the power to fight back against the oppressive monarchy. However, as deals with the devil often go, there was an unforeseen cost. For every soldier she blasted into dust, an innocent child in the village that she was in would die as well.
Ooh. Well,
yikes.
Angry and fearful, villagers attacked her after realizing that she was responsible for killing all of their children. And dismayed, she did not fight back when they attacked. Her soul, because it had been, promised to a demon, was condemned to Marvel's hell, and Victor never forgot it. It would only be a few years later before Victor's father called to hear the Baron's, the Baron is basically the monarch at the time, the Baron's sick wife was hunted for failing to treat her cancer. Victor and his father fled, and Victor's father ended up dying trying to keep him warm in the frozen mountains.
Yikes.
It was not long before Victor began to dip into his mother's own habits, learning sorcery and also finding a strong affinity for science as well. So young little Victor at like 12, 14 years old started practicing magic and learning how to build like ice bombs and shit to throw at the monarchy.
Oh.
And then he like went to college in New York?
We're gonna get there, Megan.
Spoilers.
He's legit. He's living in a Roma caravan, a bunch of wagons, making devices that defy all expectation, like holograms and like ice grenades and sonic shooters and all that stuff. At some point in the next couple of years, he is going to end up at college in New York. Yes.
Okay, cool. Whatever.
Cool.
Victor began designing weapons to help his people fight off the Baron's men, where he learned to, and he also learned to channel his magical talents into equal defense. But his goal never once changed. He would find a way to free his mother from Mephisto's torment. Eventually, he drew the attention of the American military, and they brought him back to America with the intent of giving him an education and having him build weapons of mass destruction for them.
Makes fucking sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I buy it now. I suddenly buy him going to college in New York.
Years passed, and Victor nearly became the roommate of one Reed Richards. However, Reed was a tool, and Victor hated everyone who was not him or his dead mom, so it didn't work out very well.
And also they had a torrid love affair that made things worse.
Yeah.
I'm
so
gonna go
true,
ahead
Megan.
I'm going to go ahead and read this panel here just because I really like a lot of the monologues in Book of Doom. But as the years passed, where black arts brought me no success, I slowly turned to science. In my innocence, I thought to combine science and magic, forcing the black arts to follow my rules, not their own. But if I was a prodigy at sorcery, then I cannot express how quickly I mastered science. And through this mastery, and the things I created. And I don't have the next panel, so I'm not going to read it.
I want to hear the end. Oh my god, back to the asbestos net.
Yeah. In college, Victor pushed his knowledge of science to the limit. And after Richards commented on his strange math that he was doing for a project he was working on, he was using magic and mixing it with science. He was trying to build a portal to contact the Netherworld. And you can see in the panel, this is from his first appearance, the idea of him trying to contact the Netherworld was present even back then. His lab assistant is shouting at him, "This is mad, Von Doom. Why do you keep trying to contact the Netherworld?" And he says, "Silence, just do as you're told."
Doom's reasons are his own.
Why are you trying to make a portal to hell? Just fucking leave me alone, all right? Just do it. Just do what I tell you.
He's just like me for real.
The magic math did not really work out very well, and Victor did explode. Now, there are two versions of this. In one version, Dr. Doom was scarred horribly by the explosion. And that's what most versions of the story seem to run with. But Jack Kirby, as I mentioned, had a personal take, which I actually prefer. Victor only ended up with a relatively small scar on his very handsome face. And that scratch was just enough to make him think that that his face was ruined. If it wasn't perfect, it wasn't good.
I thought that was a metaphor. I thought that was.
It is metaphorical, but literal.
Well, I thought it was just. I didn't think it was just
it was
the one.
One could say a symbol.
A symbol.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's symbolic of his metaphorical imperfections. Yeah.
What are you, some kind of writer?
No.
Afterwards, Doom spent years traveling Tibet looking for a bunch of techno-wizard monks. And after a few years studying with them, he surpassed them all, becoming the master of the techno-wizard monks.
The techno-wizard monks?
Cool.
They're a bunch of monks. They're into magic, and they're into science, and they're into blending those two things. And Doom showed up and learned from them for a little bit, and then they were like, "This guy's better than us. Let's make him the boss."
Love it when they do that. It's just like Iron Fist for real.
From magically enhanced titanium, he crafted a suit of technologically advanced battle armor, and already thinking his face scarred, he put on the mask element before it had fully cooled, burning his flesh and erasing the boy that he once was.
Sir?
This guy. Come on, man.
Okay.
Doom also during this time finds out that his old almost roommate is now a famous space doctor exploring, leading a pretty extensive space program for the Americas. This sends him into a jealous rage. He hears on the TV that they call Reed Richards Dr. Reed Richards, and he realizes that he never got a doctorhood, and so he starts making everyone around him call him doctor.
This is real Bitterex behavior. I was gonna say, this is, Also, oh my god, dude.
His jealousy drives him to also blame Reed for his accident. When Reed was looking at his papers in his room that led to the explosion, he assumes that Reed fucked something up and tried to tweak something on his documents that led to him exploding. This will fuel a rivalry that will last the rest of space and time, and sometimes more than that.
I don't know. I think that Megan's explanation just gets more and more credible the more we learn about this guy. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I think you're right.
I think I'm right. I didn't know any of this. I just knew in my heart. I looked at them. And I was like,
that's just how good you are.
That's just how good I am. Yeah.
Doom returns home and leads a blood-soaked rebellion against the Baron, now king of Latvaria. In the end, Doom ends up becoming monarch of his homeland and uses his new authority to immediately give himself a doctorate.
So what are you gonna do first when you become monarch, Mr. Doom? It's not Mr. It's Doctor.
It's Doctor.
That's Doctor Doom to you.
The dude could just call himself King Doom, and that's better than a doctor.
No,
but
and
he
went
so...
for Doctor.
No. Fuck Reed Richards.
This is like real. Every college professor that has a PhD, and they're like, no. Don't call me by my first name. And it's Doctor.
It's Doctor.
Which is like valid because you know
I worked hard for
it.
Yeah.
But also,
hey,
you gave it to yourself.
Arguably, it's much harder to take over a country than it is to go through medical school. So
I mean, yeah,
Jen.
Yeah.
You should just like take over a country instead, Jen, and then just like.
God, you're so right. Fuck nursing school. I gotta go overthrow a government. I'll be right back, you guys.
Doom uses his knowledge of the mystic arts to challenge Mephisto to a contest. Once every year, Doom may face Mephisto in combat. If Doom is ever destroyed, his soul will fall to hell alongside his mother's. If he wins, his mother's soul may be released to heaven. For decades, this has remained Doom's sole purpose. All pursuits to conquer the world, to gain ultimate power, to destroy his enemies, all movements were designed purely to eventually achieve the goal of freeing his mommy from hell.
Well,
mommy.
I respect him for that.
It's kind of an understandable... Yeah. That's kind of an understandable, like, thing, right?
Yeah, he loves he's got mommy issues.
I hope his mommy isn't, like, disappointed by the horrific man he's become along the way.
I cannot wait to get to Triumph and Torment, my friend. Anyway.
Yay!
Wait,
Triumph and Torment.
We're jumping right into Triumph and Torment. So, right off the bat, this is I think probably my favorite Doctor Doom story. It's a lot of people's favorite Doctor Doom story. It's from the 80s, so there is a lot of like 80s design in it, but I will say that it fucking rocks. It's really good. It's one of the best Doctor Doom stories out there. It was written by Roger Stern and paired with the excellent art and ink from Mike Mignola, who's super famous for doing Hellboy, and also Mark Badger, I think, is the colorist. I'm not certain about that. He did other stuff
Mark
in there.
Badger.
He's excellent too. It's an excellent book, but I just don't know as much about him. Doom's origin was already conceived more or less at once, with small additions like the fate of his mother being added over time. Still, by 1989, Doom had already tried and failed to rescue his mother from hell around 10 times.
That's sad.
Question: yes. I thought that every time he lost, his soul is gonzo. So how did he do it 9 more times?
They will talk about that.
Okay.
He's been fighting that battle for longer than that. These are 10 separate other attempts at like trying to get around that deal to try to rescue his mother.
So, but okay.
Here we close the book on that element of his life forever, in a move that is still yet to be retconned by anything. So the effects of this Triumph and Torment arc, it's still there. This is still all happened. We open with an ancient and senile old wizard, the aged Genghis, someone with brief histories with both Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange. Once every 100 years, the aged Genghis briefly regains strength, clarity, and competence, and signals all powerful magic users all around the world to come and participate in a magical tournament to decide once and for all who is truly the Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, I know that one.
Ah.
I've seen the Doctor Strange movie with Benedict Cucumber Head.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, he's naked. Oh my god. Holy shit, Benedict Cucumber.
I think they actually drew his dick in that first panel there.
Yeah. I can see his balls. He's shaded out cross-hatched balls
are out there.
They even got his pubes.
So we described for everybody what you're looking at here.
I think we already did. His wings out.
We've got a panel of Doctor Strange leaping from bed, and he sleeps butt ass naked.
And is this proof that has yet to be retconned?
This is one of them. This is one of them.
The fact that he sleeps naked.
They've hat shaded it so that you can't really see anything, but it's done in such a way that it's like you still feel like you're looking at everything.
No, you can see the way they shaded it. Those are his balls, Liam.
Yes, the way that they drew the dick, and the dick is like in a horizontal manner, but they shaded it in a vertical manner. So really, you just see the dick at the intersections of the shading lines.
And like right above his heel, they still shaded it yellow. So it's like.
God, it's not that those long. Are his, those are his thigh muscles.
No, those are his balls, and his dick is like weighing to the side.
It is.
This is really important. This is
just like that Batman issue that they had to.
This is just like the Batman issue. Yeah,
they had to reprint a whole new run without his dick and balls out.
Doctor Strange is one of those that is summoned, and in order to conserve his strength or whatever, he books a fucking set of plane trips and arrives at the location in Indonesia by himself. He starts cutting through vegetation with a machete. It's nuts. At a certain point, he reaches the temple and strips off his safari gear, and he's just wearing his superhero costume underneath. And it's like, this could have been a teleport. Like, this is silly.
Yeah.
He fucking calls like the American Airlines and is like, hey, can I get a ticket to Indonesia as quickly as possible?
Okay.
When he arrives, he meets a bunch of other sorcerers from around the world. There is a young Irish woman with a very 1989 outfit, a peppy fella from Jamaica, and the fashionably late Victor Von Doom. Before the competition begins, however, one guy rightfully notes that Dr. Doom has an unfair technological advantage and should be tested purely on his magical might. Doom agrees to remove his gauntlets. I may not be as adept as some of you, but I am no stranger to the magic ways. Are you so unsure of your prowess that you fear my technological edge? Very well. Removing these gauntlets shall shut down both my offensive weapon systems and my armor's force field. On that, you have the word of Doom.
I have a question.
Yes.
The cool punk rock girl.
I do like her.
Yes.
Are her tits just out?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I told you. She's a peppy Irish woman. She seems super fun. She's got a very designed in 1989 outfit. Like we're talking Goblin Queen levels of skin. Like.
Oh, sorry. I saw that her tits were out, and the queer side of me was like, hell yeah. And then I remembered this was made in like the 80s, and now I'm like, oh
yeah, no, this wasn't for the girlies.
We're into her punk rock nearly naked attire, and also we can understand that a man drew this as well. Like
man, it's for me, the girlies.
It can be for you.
It's for me. Look how cool she is. She's so cool.
You can reclaim this.
Tits out.
Tits out.
Yes. Look at her. Wow.
With that, it begins. The Great Genghis turns into a big crystal thing. The aged Genghis.
Yeah. He's not great. He's just aged.
He's not great. It's true. He's just aged.
Yeah.
He's just old.
He's just old.
The aged Genghis turns into a big crystal thing and says that
Oh.
whoever is the first to free him from inside the big crystal thing will be the new sorcerer supreme.
Ooh,
They had
this
an arc
is
like
like
this
that
in
one episode of Avatar.
Yeah.
But then it turns out, spoilers, it was rock candy. All you have to do is eat it, you guys. Come on.
Just eat it.
Things immediately go poorly. Attempts to crack it open by force end up backfiring, and suddenly a great number of the magic users become brainwashed and attempt to attack those who remain. Before too long, the only two who are still standing and unaffected are Doom and Strange.
No, titty woman, no.
No.
What is it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doom, however, is
eyeballs.
indeed cheating. Using sensors and AI in his suit, he is recording and categorizing all the moves of his peers, especially those of Strange. As the battle goes on, Doom does better and better. He is, however, unable to find room to break through. Him and Strange start to work together, watching each other's backs until the last moment, when Doom attempts to pacify Strange with a spell he had learned by watching Strange just a couple minutes ago.
Oh my god, dude. That's real. What a hey man.
Hey, question.
Yes.
That the second panel, but the first panel of the second one.
Yeah.
Just out again.
No.
What is that?
It's it's a thing from his belt. I don't know, man.
Is it? Why is it colored the same as the rest?
It's silhouetting.
Why does it look like a dick?
If you look over to the final panel, that is definitely his tunic. Yeah.
Okay, but then why didn't they draw it like in the back? Why?
Look, man,
it just looks like a giant wang.
It's a very horny comic.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, you're right. This is the second love interest.
Strange's mastery of magic is better, though, and Strange is able to reverse the spell that Doom cast on him, stunning Doom without completely incapacitating him.
Man.
So it was a shitty spell. That really sucks, Doom.
Shitty spell.
Strange ends up winning, but not through a display of force, but by simply asking the Great Genghis to come out.
Oh.
That's
so nice of him.
For the first time truly in comics, Doctor Strange becomes the unchallenged Sorcerer Supreme. This is where he gets that title, is in this story.
That's kind of nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Genghis, however, has a condition. According to tradition, which rhymes, I didn't know I did that.
Oh.
Strange now owes a favor to every sorcerer who is still standing when he won.
Oh, that's just
the only
Doom,
man who was still standing was Doom.
Man. Kiss, and they make out.
Strange immediately rejects this. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I know this is a really important thing, but that guy tries to take over the world constantly, and I am not helping him in that. He could very easily ask me for that. I refuse.
And in fact, he probably will, like literally tomorrow.
Doom promises that his favor will have nothing to do with world conquest and takes Strange back to Latvaria to explain and prepare.
Okay, like in the same way that he said that he wasn't gonna like use sensors or like specifically said I won't use my armor or my weapon system, and then he was actually using AI.
Relax.
Yeah, a little pinky promise.
You have the word of Doom. I won't use any of the two things that my suit does. All of the others are using stuff.
Doom explains that the plight of his mother and the Doom explains the plight of his mother and the arrangement that he has with Mephisto. He asks Strange for him. He asks for Strange to teach him and to aid him in his next attempt to battle Mephisto to free his mother.
Okay.
Every year, Doom has tried this and has ended every time in a stalemate. Doom has not been destroyed, but he has never won either. He promises that if Strange helps, even if they fail, it will be enough to satisfy the debt. Arriving in Hell, Doom and Strange begin a very confusing and uphill battle. Mephisto is truly the master of Hell and has control over every molecule within it. Time shifts, locations change from moment to moment, and demons swarm them both. It's a constant and overwhelming struggle. For all of their combined power, Doom and Strange have to give everything they can just to remain on the back foot. Both are subjected to visions of the selfish and arrogant men that they were, or in Doom's case, still is. For Strange, while haunting, the visions serve as a reminder of how far he has come. For Doom, however, they only seek to remind him of his failures.
I love the line work in this panel.
Isn't it so good? Yeah,
it's so good.
You should read some Hellboy because Mike Mignola is really, really good at really good striking lines.
Nodding.
In the end, Doom being Doom strikes a bargain with Mephisto. He captures Strange and offers him to Mephisto in exchange for his mother. A deal that Mephisto.
Guy. What a guy!
The guy of all time.
The guy of all time? Derogatory, perhaps?
He captures Strange and offers him to Mephisto in exchange for his mother, a deal that Mephisto makes out like a bandit in. The soul of Cynthia Von Doom is not nearly as valuable to him as the soul of a guy who is one of Earth's greatest heroes.
He's literally Sorcerer Supreme. He became Sorcerer Supreme last week.
Exactly.
Like literally yesterday. Holy.
Mephisto restores Cynthia Von Doom, and upon seeing what Doom has become and what he has done to free her, she disowns him, rejecting her freedom and choosing to remain in hell rather than condemn an innocent man in her place.
Yeah.
Well,
did you ever think of this, Doom?
Yeah.
Who you have become in your pursuit to save your mommy? It's so sweet that he is so determined to save his mommy. And also, do you think perhaps she would be disappointed in you, son?
However, Doom being Doom has another angle as well.
Oh my god.
The moment that his mother turns to stone, having rejected him, a small device planted on Strange frees him from Mephisto's trap. Together, the two engage Mephisto directly, and while they are not able to defeat him, and I want you to look at this panel here. This is Mephisto's full power. For those of you on audio only, I can't describe it other than it being really badass. It's so fucking cool.
We got eyeballs. We got it's so striking with the gold and the lava magma.
You have called me a demon and a monster, but I am the Lord of Demons, the ultimate monster. I am the living evil. I am Mephisto. The two managed to trick Mephisto into damaging the stone thingy holding Cynthia's soul.
Yeah,
cracking it open. Yeah, the stone thingy, the statue, you know. Cracking it open, it releases her soul to heaven.
Wow.
In rejecting Dr. Doom, Cynthia's horror at the wrong done in her name tainted her soul against Mephisto's realm. She redeemed herself in rejecting Doom and no longer belongs in hell. When her statue was broken, she was freed.
Okay, so maybe Doom did think that his mother would not approve of what he had become?
We'll get there.
I don't know.
Doom
and Strange, that far ahead.
Doom and Strange managed to argue for their escape as well. If Mephisto kills them both, they will just die and go to heaven. If he lets them live, they will have an opportunity to end up being bad and could be condemned to hell again.
Oh my god.
Very bold claims.
With that fact out in the open, Mephisto sends them back to Earth in a rage.
Man, you could just keep them there instead of killing them.
The comic ends with Doom sending Strange on his way, and it masterfully leaves it ambiguous. Doom at least seemed surprised through much of that. And yet, there is enough evidence to point that this was Doom's plan from the start. The only way that Doom wins it all. His mother's soul is free, Strange was not betrayed, and Doom owes nothing to anyone. Except his mother's love will never again grace him. To free her, she needed to reject him. It's not a certainty, but it's a really, really cool note to end on.
That's fun.
The panels here, Strange says a couple of lines here. He says, Our Doom says, Doom says, I need no one. I have achieved that which I sought. My mother's soul is free at last. And Strange says, yes, but only at the cost of her love. Or did you make that sacrifice knowingly? It's legit. It's a dope comic. You could read it in an afternoon, and it's a really fun ride all the way through. Next up, we're going to talk about Doom as the Dictator. This is going to be covering Doom War, specifically issue number 3, I think, and Fantastic Four number 254. We're going to a couple of other stories in general in less detail from here on out, but I really think that they're important for understanding what makes the character so compelling without being the same like crazy ass rides that are so vital to get the whole picture.
Yeah,
as the last couple have been. Yeah, it's that Doom shot in me.
Man, he got that Doom in
I got
him.
that Doom shot in me. So first off, we're going to start with Fantastic Four number 254, published in 1982. This is on recommendation from Megan's father, who is a very big Doctor Doom fan.
Whoa.
And we're also going to talk a little bit about, I think, one of the most famous single issues of Doctor Doom from the 2000s era. This is Doom War, issue number 3, published in 2010.
He looks really. Wait, can I look? I want to look at the cover one more. He looks so cool in that second cover.
Doesn't he? Doesn't he? What's going on?
I really like that. He's got a bunch of assorted heroes, but they look like chess pieces on a chessboard. But he's picking up his little robot dudes, like a little chess piece, and he's like big and looming over the chessboard, and he just looks so like imposing and cool.
It's super cool. Yeah,
much cooler than the previous ones that I've seen of him. I think every picture of him that has been shown since the really cool one with the mountain, I've just been like, yep, this is from the 80s. This is like the first one where I'm like,
yeah. Fantastic Four number 254 solidifies a lot of really important elements about Doom, and it's often pointed to as an example about how Doctor Doom has kind of always been right. Now, I'm gonna make Megan's dad so mad right now because
disown you for real.
He's gonna disown me.
Coming to your house again.
No.
I personally think that the story is saying something different than Doom is a good ruler, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Now, 254 is a culmination of a running arc with the Fantastic Four, with them having recently deposed Doctor Doom and replaced him with like a benevolent king kind of guy. This guy promised free elections for Latvaria. He was like, Latvaria's saved. We're good now. Doom's no longer in charge. And the Fantastic Four, specifically Reed Richards, was like, cool, I am never going to think about this place again. And then he went home.
Cool. Thanks, Reed.
Okay.
Yep. However, after being brought back to Latvaria sometime after that by Doom, it becomes obvious that Latvaria is in a bad shape, and Doom blames them. To the Fantastic Four's surprise, Doom seems to be genuinely beloved by his people here. Even despite even shouting at a child that runs into him at one point, who dares strike the personage of Doom?
Bro. Chill.
I think he's just traumatized, you know?
Oh my god.
That boy's mother ends up seeing Doom and is genuinely like so fucking happy to see him. She's like, oh my god, things were so much better under you. Things are so bad right now. That boy's name is Christoph. The mother will end up getting blasted by robots in a panel or two. Doom will end up adopting Christoph and genuinely caring for him as his ward.
Oh, okay.
What a great way for them to meet, though.
Yeah.
It seems that in the time since he was deposed, Latvaria's economy crashed hard under weak leadership. Crime rates skyrocket. We'll talk about that more in a minute. And in response, the benevolent ruler, the Fantastic Four, canceled the free elections and declared martial laws in efforts to secure order in the region.
Oops.
The Fantastic Four and Doom battle the new dictator's forces and together in an attempt to protect the people. Before long, it becomes obvious that the good king in charge has fallen into deranged madness. Now, so I mentioned a little bit ago that they're the crime rates thing, right? So the comic puts an interesting amount of emphasis on crime in this era and in Latvaria. The book outwardly states that the difference between Doom and the new guy is that Doom, the new guy punishes people harshly, while Doom never needed to punish people. The threat of Doom's harsh punishments were more than enough to keep people from ever doing crime. I don't like this. You know, here's the thing. I get what he's going for. The idea is that Doctor Doom is such a scary and terrifying guy who actually can make good on his promises and threats. But like, there's a Brennan Lee Mulligan clip going around right now about like assassin hotels, it being illegal to kill in assassin hotels, and it's like it's actually illegal to kill people everywhere. Like you can't, like, you know, the people who are assassins are already accustomed to breaking the rule. Like, you can make the punishment as hard as you want. You can have anybody specifically be threatening of that. But like the idea that Doom just alone on the threat of punishment is doing a better job of keeping people from doing crime than a guy who is actively executing civilians, it doesn't totally work for me, not in a way that like makes a lot of sense. I will say though that there is an interpretation that Doom is being fair in his punishments, whereas the new guy is doing mass punishments. He's doing collective punishment and terrorizing people into behaving, whereas Doom just only punished people who, like, harshly, but people who deserved it. He was just but cruel, you know. I lean more towards that interpretation. I don't think that's what the book is trying to say, but I gotta flex this a little bit. All right,
literature.
People break the law under threat all the time. That's what the law is. It's a threat. So Doom ends up killing the new king guy, and he reclaims the throne, releasing the Fantastic Four and returning to business. A lot of the story frames itself in favor of benevolent dictatorship. That all the world needs is the right strong man to keep everybody safe. However, the truth about Doom is that however prosperous his people and however loved he may be, Doom keeps his people in line through fear of him. The threat of harm rarely is better than the harm itself. You know what I mean? In general, it feels like the story is trying to say that dictatorships can work if you have the right guy in it. But I think the story, if you zoom out from that, you look at it from the context of it being a cautionary tale against American interventionism, that's where the story really nails. Because you look at the Fantastic Four, they saw this bad guy who was their personal enemy ruling a country where he had access to stuff and was like doing dictator things, and they were like, well, we'd rather have somebody that's like more into our interests there. So they jump in, kick Doctor Doom's ass, and then just leave. Like let them sort their own shit out. And that immediately collapses into like you put another dictator in charge. He just ends up being another dictator, you know. It's a really interesting dichotomy, and I think especially for the 80s, this was good commentary. I think it's even better now. So, but yeah, sorry, Megan's dad. I don't think Doctor Doom. I don't think what this is trying to say is that Doctor Doom is supposed to be in charge. I think it's actually trying to criticize things around him.
I mean, that's pretty good. Oh my god, this picture. Holy shit. This I was going to comment on how I really like that interpretation because it's, you know, it's kind of one for one, really.
And you got Doom spreading right in front of you.
Doom's man spreading on this next slide, and his balls are shaded so like prominently.
The panel that we're looking at. The panel that we're looking at.
His dick and balls is not actually out this time.
No,
it is his tunic. It just is also very like The light is really lovingly hitting the bulge.
It's a
in a
very
way that's
snug cut
very-
he's got.
It's a very, it's not
snug
even,
fit.
he's sitting
Yeah.
on his tunic. It looks like a Speedo, and it's just,
Yeah.
you can just see both of them so clearly
I
in
will
the
also
shading.
add that the armor on his torso is
Oh,
very
he's got-
vacuum packed onto his many
He's got
many,
the eight.
like side
eight
muscles, you know. It's really
Yeah,
something
dude.
cool. Someone put
Them
a lot of effort
intercostals.
into the loving sculpting of this masculine form, you know.
Whoever shaded this was like, God, I know exactly. This composition, it all leads towards the balls.
God, you're right. The pecs and abs literally make a V.
They're literally pointing.
Down
Me
to
and
balls.
Megan and I are taking an art class. We're together. We're learning about composition. It's literally a bullseye on his balls.
Yeah, it really is just like literally everything. Like even
Shout out
even
to you,
like
Professor.
the thighs like leading inward towards the balls.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not leading towards his face.
Keep
Not
going.
his
We can do
face
this
at
for another
all.
hour if you guys
No.
want. We can just keep
Shout
on
out
this
to you,
subject.
Professor. Thank you
Thanks,
for teaching us everything
Professor.
you know. Thanks, Professor.
Yeah.
I
He
hope
really
you
putting
guys
his
have been
teachings to
doing-
good use here. Yeah.
God's work.
Well, that brings us to Doom War.
Oh, this is the one with the cool cover.
Yes.
And he's
Around
hiding his
2000.
giant
Oh my
balls.
God. No, okay, they've
Around-
just shaded his fingers. I thought he had black nail polish on. Oh, you're a man? Where's your black nail polish?
Sorry, Liam.
Sorry.
But also, we're not sorry. Please continue.
Around 2010, Doom decided he was going to invade Wakanda to get all that yummy vibranium, you know?
Yummy.
We'll be zooming in on specifically issue 3. The context around issue 3 is not that important. Basically, Doom has invaded Wakanda for the vibranium, and he's winning.
Man.
He, in order to get access to the vibranium itself, though, he needs to plead a case to Wakanda's panther god Bast in order to like get past the defense. All the other security methods have been bested. All he needs to do is prove his worthiness to the panther god. Sorry, the Doom shot's getting to me.
That doom in him.
I got that Doom in me.
That doom in him.
However, the panther god can see deep into Doom's heart and mind, and this is what they conclude. I'm actually going to read out a bunch of these panels because I really love the writing in this section. Doom goes, "I know who you are, and I know that when I stepped through that arch, my life was forfeit. But I know this: I give to you what I have given to no one else. I open my mind and my heart and my soul to you." The panther god goes, "Is that bravery or arrogance that puts such steel in your voice? Neither. It is faith. I know who and what I am. Look into my soul, cat god. Look and see the truth that is Doom. My methods are a means to an end, no different than pruning the weeds in order to let an orchid flourish. Those who stand in the way of my vision oppose me because they fear me. But more than that, they fear what I represent. Change. Do you know why I despise Richards and T'Challa?" That's Black Panther.
I knew that one.
"Because never once have they reigned in their own self-righteous arrogance long enough to try and see what I see. Never once have they asked me why." They have asked that a lot, but don't worry about that.
No, they haven't, Liam. He just said.
He just said.
No one ever asked him anything. Also,
Do you?
the colorist forgot to color in his thumb. That's really sad. It's not sad.
Oh,
You're right. I never noticed that before.
Oh, that's sad. Anyway.
Do
sad.
you want to know love?
Okay, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Wow.
Sure, yeah.
Those were. I really liked the panels though. That was very cool composition. I will say
Yeah,
that.
paneling was fun.
The planet turning into his eyeball. That was pretty cool.
Homo sapiens are a predator species. It's what brought us down from the trees, and it's what ultimately reduces us to a historical footnote in cosmic history. I am more than a scientist, more than a power-hungry despot that Richards and the others paint me as. I am a sorcerer. I have looked into the future. I have seen how one violent action after another spins the world toward a future where all that remains of Earth is a burnt out cinder. Every time I have looked into the future, that is what I have seen. Every time but one. In one possible future, mankind becomes united. Cures for all disease are found. Global conflicts end. Hunger is abolished. Education is universal, and no one goes without. In that world, there are laws. To break even the slightest of these is to suffer immediate and terminal punishment. After a while, no one would dare lay their hands upon the innocent, or commit a crime of hate, or steal bread from another table. In 10,000 futures I have looked at, 100,000, and in only one does mankind finally unite and flourish and survive. Only one. In the end, it's ambiguous, but the Panther God does seem to see Doom as wholeheartedly believing what he is saying. At the very least, the Panther God believes that Doom is not just bullshitting. He believes this. The Panther God says, I too have looked into the millions of pathways of the future. I too have seen the one path that leads to a world without evil. Now, there's some ambiguity here as well. The Panther God leaves the conversation by saying, though your methods are abhorrent and vile, your intent is pure. You may pass. Many view this as the Panther God Bast saying that peace can only be achieved at the hands of Doom's brutal regime. However, the blogger Comics Archaeology posits that Doom's framing of things is very predator prey. The way that he looks at the world is very similar to what a Panther God might actually be receptive to. At the very least, it is definite that Doom honestly, deep in his heart, believes that the only way to save humanity is to conquer it. And I think that's a very interesting facet of this guy. He doesn't just want power for power's sake. He honestly believes he's doing the right thing. However, is Doom right about that? Doom himself states that he can only see, or that he's only looked at 100,000 futures. And the Panther God, while it looks like he agrees with that the future is Doom's, he doesn't actually straight up say that. He hints at it a little bit, but he mostly comments on Doom's purity of purpose. Doom, in his own mind, is trying to save the world. For all his flaws, he does not want power for power's sake. However, as it turns out, the future that they both saw would come to pass. And Doom would become the savior that he envisioned, with a scope far beyond what he had ever imagined.
Whoa.
Now, the next three stories we're going to go through pretty quick as well. We're going to talk about Doom as the savior. We're going to talk about Secret Wars, Infamous Iron Man, and the 2019 run. Megan's got beef with Secret Wars because it ended a comic that it ended their favorite comic.
Secret Wars
a little
ended
unceremoniously.
Loki, Agent of Asgard, the only comic run to ever exist, and I will never forgive it. Never.
In 2015, the world ended.
Oh.
Actually, all worlds ended. The Marvel multiverse faced a crisis that spanned all realities, and all of Earth's mightiest heroes could not stop it. All failed, except one. Victor Von Doom had created Doctor Strange. No, had
Recruited
recruited Doctor Strange.
Spider-Man, why'd you create that guy?
Why'd you create that guy? Victor, why'd you create that guy?
Victor, why'd you create that guy?
I didn't. Victor Von Doom had fuck, I did it again.
Liam, why'd you create that guy?
Why'd you create that guy? Victor Von Doom had recruited Doctor Strange, and together with a guy called Molecule Man, who was very important, but not for our purposes, challenged beings. There were beings responsible for the destruction across the multiverse, the Beyonders. The Beyonders are hard to explain. Their power level fluctuates. Sometimes they are some of the most powerful things in the galaxy, and sometimes they're just a part of it. But they are beings with enough power to create and destroy entire dimensions for sure. Jen is holding something up in front of the camera, but because they've got their virtual background on, it says Beyonders.
The Beyonders, the famous book series by Brandon Mull.
Wow.
Whoa. The kids
Anyway.
series. Anyway. Sorry.
Doom basically tricked Beyonders into their own destruction, and in doing so, found a way to take their power for his own. Doctor Strange refused to take the power. He was scared of it. But Doom alone had the will to do what needed to be done. At the end of everything, Doom used that power to save the multiverse. Kinda.
Oh.
Doom saved whatever he could, trying his hardest to keep it the way that it was while also pulling all the things that he could into a single world. A world where he is both God and king.
Gee, Doom, why did you create a world where you're God and king specifically? Like, everything is the same except you're, like, in charge of everything or something.
It's not the same. That's the thing. He didn't try to recreate his world. He tried to recreate everybody's world. He basically took as many of the multiverses as he could and squished them into one planet and spread them out in their own little countries. So you've got an area.
He's like the God King of like the whole, all of it, though. Like,
yes, exactly. Well, he is. He just is.
He just
like,
is. Yeah.
He just is.
Whether or not he wanted to be that, which he does, whether or not he wanted to be that, he is that.
Finally, this is exactly what I want, but I promise,
I
it's
promise.
for other reasons, not because I want it, though I do, but like not because
it's not like I want it or anything. Dr. Doom soon did it for real.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating because like. You even have, like, in the story, Doctor Strange is legitimately, like, when he ends up talking to characters about it, Doctor Strange is one of the only people that's got memories from the previous universe. He is like, yeah, Doom is God. He is. He just straight up is. Like, you can say whatever you want about, like, how he is, made himself the God Emperor, but, like, he is that, though. Like, I don't know what you want from me here, you know?
Man, you should just like get over Reed and like be with Doctor Strange instead.
That fucking canon event, if they weren't roommates in college, this never would have fucking happened if they had just made out.
Right? Oh my god. And like Doctor Strange is so supportive all the time. Even when he probably should not be.
He built a world, a new world, an imperfect one, but one where many who would have been lost were able to survive. One that clings on to what was from all of the multiverse. In the end, that's what his final flaw is. He ends up facing the original 616 Reed Richards, and in that, Doom and Reed face a pretty final confrontation. Now, I am actually going to read some of this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. What do we got here?
Can we zoom in on this?
No.
Oh my god. No? Okay, I'm going to zoom in with my face and get real close to my screen.
Yeah, what are we looking at? Why don't you tell us?
Holy shit. Okay. I don't even know. The first page is kind of I assume, Doctor Doom's face. Kind of checkerboard mosaiced on top of Doctor Strange's face, I'm assuming.
Reed
Richards.
Reed Richards' face. I'm sorry. Yep. They're both older white men. I don't know what you want from me. And it kind of reminds me of there's this one like art technique where you cut up like two photographs and then you kind of weave them into each other to create this like checkerboard pattern. It's basically like that, and then the text is like in each of like the cells, like as a text
Yeah.
box. Also around the edges, it's very cool.
It's very neat.
And then there's some like tentacle stuff going on the second page, and I'm
we'll
a
get there,
little
we'll
like,
get there.
whoa.
But settle down, we'll get there.
But
We'll
the
get there.
lighting's sick as hell.
That's just Reed.
That's what?
He's a stretchy guy. That's his limbs.
Yeah.
I see the fingers now. Well,
So
Not-
what you're
not to
what
add-
you're missing here is that he's tentacle porning.
Yeah, I was about to say.
he is the tentacle porn.
Yeah, he is the
But
tentacle.
the lighting is sick as hell.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and read out the boxes here. I'm gonna start from all that I have done, all of this, and you still give me no credit. Can't you accept that I've done good things here? And this is Reed speaking now. I'm not blind, Victor. I do accept it. But you could have done more. You closed your hands around everything that was and left it, everything that was left and called it yours. You're so afraid of losing things that you've saved them. You're so afraid of losing the things that you've saved that you hold them too tight. Don't you see, Victor? A tree is just a seed in its realized state. This is what causes your fall, Reed. Abandoning the good because you desire the perfect. I understand now. I know what this is. It's the same thing it's always been between you and I. You think you're better than I am.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
No, Victor, you're wrong.
Okay.
I've always believed that you could be better than what you are. No, I mean now, this moment. If you had this power, you think you could have solved it all, solved everything. You think you could have done so much better, don't you? Don't you? Yes, and we both know it, don't we? And there's a panel of silence, and then Doom says, yes, damn you. Now die!
That's pretty fun.
That's
Victor,
pretty good.
It's such a good fucking moment. The writer behind
pretty
Secret
good.
Wars is a guy named Jonathan Hickman. He was responsible.
Oh.
My cat just launched himself off my bed behind me. He decided he was done with this shit.
He was like, I've heard enough. I'm out of here.
Jonathan Hickman does a Fantastic Four run that leads up to Secret Wars, and it is one of the best Fantastic Four anything. It's one of the best comics runs at anything, and Doctor Doom is great in that. I think I've got a couple of images from him somewhere in this that I can show you later on, but overall, it's a great comic, great arc. Doom's character is perfect in this. He really is like the savior of the universe, and he was the only person who was able to do it.
Well, that's not coming through on my mic, so I'm gonna describe this panel. Hell, it's the scene. It's the panel where Doom says, "Yes, damn you, now die." And I'm gonna get the silly part out of the way first. Reed's legs are wrapped all around him, baby.
It's so cool, this everything, but then his little feet sticking out is I can't stop thinking about it.
It is so hard to take
everything to me.
It's so hard to take Mr. Fantastic seriously in any situation. It
But I'm
really
going to.
is.
I'm going to take him seriously now. I'm done saying the thing
Yeah,
about
the
his legs
suspension
wrapped
of
around you.
suspension of disbelief activate.
Activate. Anyways, so Doom is like holding him down and like pressing his hand into his face and like burning it off, I think, somehow.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I love how the foreground, like the ground is a little bit like really bright, and so it's like it's like fading away, like Reed like on his back.
Mhm.
And then the background, there's like a wall of red behind them that kind of like sets them off from the background, and that's his scream. It's like a red like scream all across the
Sick as
background,
hell.
like
Yeah.
creating
The limited color palette is everything.
It's so
I think.
good. It's so good.
I know
It's so
you.
good.
I know you hate Secret Wars because it killed your favorite comic, but it's really good.
Yeah, I hate it on principle. This is pretty sick. I will continue to hate it on principle. You can show me every individual component of Secret Wars, and I go like, yeah, it's sick. And you're like, so you like Secret Wars? And I'll be like, no, they killed Agent of Asgard.
Victor will indeed end up losing that fight, and Reed, able to let go of the past, builds a new multiverse by letting the universes grow from just an idea on their own rather than forcing them to take a shape in his image. Megan's making a weird face. Megan is so doom-pilled right now. It's crazy.
I think I hate Reed Richards now also for killing Agent of Asgard. Man, everyone shut the fuck up and put the universe right back where it belongs.
Put that shit back where it came from, or so help me. So help me.
In the new world, the one crafted by Reed, Doom remembers it all. He's one of the only people that remembers the old world as it was. And the one thing that Doom could never do as a god, fix his own face, Reed has done for him.
Oh my god. I bet he hates it. I bet he fucking
I would if I was Doom, I would fucking hate that.
I would kill that man. Honestly,
fuck you.
I would rip his face off myself. Like,
and then rip my own face off.
Yeah, and slap his face onto mine and my face onto his.
That leads us to infamous. I'm going to take his face
Nick Cage
off.
Yeah.
That leads us into what we see in infamous Iron Man. This is a Doom who has been irrevocably changed by his experiences in Secret Wars. This Doom, for lack of a better term, is overcompensating. His purpose, his drive, it's been shattered. He had everything he needed to bring about the future that he saw, and he couldn't do it. He had ultimate power to shape that utopia, and yet it still failed. If Doom cannot fail, but the future that he built was a failure, what is he? His mother is freed, his utopia cannot exist. So what is Doom? In this story, he decides that Doom is Iron Man.
Okay.
Now,
oh my god. Doom is Iron Man.
It's all coming together. It's all coming together. Holy shit.
Did it, boy.
It's
wild. Oh my god, we've done it.
Everybody is talking about, there's a specific comic run where Dr. Doom steals Iron Man's body and Iron Man ends up put in Dr. Doom's body and nobody believes him and it's a whole thing. People keep referencing that as the that's what they're going to draw from, obviously, but for me this is the obvious direction for them to go. We'll get there though. The comic opens. Yes.
So Chris Evans, I know, was the fire dude in Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Correct.
What if they bring Chris Evans back and it's a whole like, oh my god, Captain America,
and then people are gonna start shipping,
and then they're back again, and then they're gonna kiss,
Yes.
Anyway,
was there a question?
Was there a question? Was there a question there?
Yeah, you think Chris Evans is gonna come back too? If the Fantastic Four and Doom are so connected?
I cannot comment on that. I cannot comment on that, as it may or may not spoil a movie that is currently in theaters.
When will they kiss?
Which movie?
Don't. If I tell you that I've spoiled it, haven't I?
I don't. Is the Deadpool movie?
No, you know what?
Are you just still going?
No, I think I think that it won't break anything. They should bring him back. They should bring Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm, and I don't think it will break anything.
And you think he should kiss Robert
I
Downey
think they
Jr.
should kiss.
I think that
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the girlies should get their stony kiss, except it's reincarnated as Johnny Storm and Dr. Doom.
So, infamous Iron Man opens with a meeting of a group of supervillains called the Cabal. It doesn't matter too much, but I think it's Girl Loki, it's the Hood, it's Namor the Samaritan, it's Doctor Doom, and it's Emma Frost.
Can you change the? Are you on the next panel?
No.
Page.
We're here. Okay. We're still here.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Worry.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna read out some of this here.
Okay. Good.
the Hood starts immediately heckling Doom. He's like, "Hey, seriously, Doom, I'm a huge fan. I really am. I'm just asking, is it true that you saved your mother from hell? That you like went to hell to go and save your mom from demons? Because if it is, that's amazing." And everyone starts saying like, "Dude, you need to stop.
Dude, just
You need to
stop. Shut
stop
the
this.
fuck up.
He's going
Shut
to
the fuck
kill
up.
you.
Shut up.
He's gonna
Shut up.
fucking kill you." And he goes, "I just wanted to know. I read it in a hidden text. I wanted to know."
I'm just
And Doom
asking
says,
questions here.
"My
He's barely a
mother's
big fan.
my mother's name will not be spoken by you, Parker Robbins. I I was just wondering if you beat the demon. I have, and you will now cease your prattle. So here's the question though. If
No,
that's
no,
true,
no.
at this point, what makes you you?
Shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. Shut up. Stop it. Stop.
You've got a whole country, a castle, you rule a country. You probably have more money than all of us put together. So if it's not the money and it's not the power, because we hear you got enough of that to free your mom's soul from a devil.
Fucking hell, dude.
So at what point, at this point, what drives all of this?
These are such good questions. Also, he told you to cease your prattle.
Yeah, he said
about
to shut the fuck up.
8 dialogue boxes ago.
Doom blasts the shit out of this guy.
Oh my god!
You can
Pacing
see
is
in
so charming to me because it's like he says this thing and then Doom like silent panel of Doom, silent panel of Doom looking at everyone else, silent panel of Doom blasting, and then just another panel of him just like disintegrating this man.
he doesn't, though, kill the guy. Instead, he teleports him to someplace else.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Thus begins infamous Iron Man. This is a
Oh my
Doom that, after experiencing the Secret Wars thing, after admitting that Reed Richards could have done it better for him, and then witnessing that Reed Richards did indeed do it better,
Oh, that's really embarrassing.
That's really embarrassing for you, Doom.
he ends up being a side character in the Iron Man run for a while that goes up through Civil War II, which Civil War II is not very good in my opinion. I haven't read the infamous Iron Man run, or sorry, the Invincible Iron Man run that Doom is a side character in. But Tony Stark at the end of Civil War II ends up getting put in a coma, and Dr. Doom decides that he is going to take up the mantle of Iron Man and become a hero in that. His armor is sick. I really like a lot of the monologues in it. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis, who he's most famous, I think, for creating the Ultimate Spider-Man comics and being a driving force behind a lot of that. He's a super cool writer, but he's pretty hit or miss. And I definitely think a lot of his weaknesses shine through in this story specifically. It's got a really cool idea, and a lot of the moments in it individually are really cool. It's got a really interesting growth for the character, building on themes that are constantly present, but every character kind of ends up sounding the same, and because of that, Doom often ends up sounding out of character, even though they're pushing him out of his typical characterization. And it also ends with a very unsatisfying twist that kind of like relinquishes all of the interesting like intrigue that it had set up beforehand. It gets this character called the Maker involved, and Doom's mother appears to be alive and also working to like pull things behind the strings. But at the very end, it literally ends with a no, it was all the devil, and it's not. It's
okay.
It's a real bummer. And it's 12 issues and then it's over. Iron Man ends up coming back and doing Iron Man stuff after that, and Doom by 2019, Doom's back to being a villain.
Is that him? In the purple?
No, that's
okay.
Kang the Conqueror.
Okay, I was gonna be like, don't do this to me. We were doing so good, you guys.
By 2019, Doom is back to his status quo. Pretty much entirely his status quo. Still has memories of Secret Wars stuff, but he's back to the same old man. Secret Wars is but a distant memory, and hope of returning to that version of Victor feels like it's kind of lost. However, when an artificial black hole is opened on the moon, on purpose, they do it on purpose, Doom finds himself seeing visions of a happy life. a world where he has a family, where he rules that utopian world that he's always envisioned, not as a despot, but as a champion. Where a galaxy has found peace, and that peace is Doom. There is no iron fist in this Doom. Instead, he leads by example.
So what is their problem exactly with Iron Fist? The guy Iron Fist. There's no Iron
Fist. Oh, because
Fist
I said there's no Iron Fist.
Universe.
When Latvaria is framed for a terror attack, terrorist attack that leaves the black hole destabilized, it sends Doom on the run as a fugitive. He surrenders. He legit realizes immediately that Latvaria is fucked. I think his actual words are, people are like giving him options, and he goes, surrender, full surrender, unconditional. He ends up on the run and seeks to clear his name, as he was not responsible for what they are accusing him of. And also desperately searches for a way to become the man he keeps seeing in his visions. He will be better. He will kill as many people as he has to be a better person.
He's so silly. He's so funny.
What a guy. The guy ever. Wow.
Does he think that perhaps maybe this is not the path to becoming the better man that he wants to be?
In the end,
Doom's reasons are his own. Do not
fucking question.
In the end, he ends up meeting an alternate version of himself, botching an operation to repair the black hole that would have made him a savior to mankind, because he is, as Jack Kirby once said, a perfectionist. He's got the plan. He's the one who solved the black hole problem. He's setting it up. And he has a call with Reed Richards where Richard wishes him good luck, and he gets really, really weird about it. And then
because they're bitter exes.
He keeps going. He's like, why would Richards wish me good luck unless he saw something that I didn't? Hang on, God. we gotta tweak this shit. Turn up the power on this level and this level.
Oh my God.
No, that's not right. You know what? Let's to be safe, let's just tweak everything. Let's do the whole thing, and it blows up. It explodes.
Oh my God.
He fucks it up really bad.
I think he might have just been being nice or a bitch.
I think this guy has anxiety.
I think this guy has problems.
It is not enough for Doom to win. His victory must be pure and absolute. And this is because he sees all people like himself. He believes all suffer from the same ego and jealousy that torments him. Reed has to be jealous of him because Victor is so jealous of Reed.
This is really sad.
Oh my God.
This is really sad for you, Dr. Doom.
The story ends up ending with him meeting that alternate version of himself and feeling mocked by his condemnation of everything that Doom has built himself to be.
Oh my God, dude, you gotta get your priorities in order.
He feels
oh my God.
The other version of him is like, yeah, we solved world peace by, I left behind that like silly mask and helmet and stuff, and I became a better person for it. I used to be I know exactly where you're at, and like it's hard to imagine I was ever that silly.
Okay, well, maybe I would want to kill that guy. Actually, never mind.
He's still a little Doom. Yeah. This is after.
Should he know not to say these words?
I'm so much better than you.
Legit, there is a panel where well, I'll get there in a second. So Doom feels the being condescended to and the dismissal of every element that makes Doom who he is. He murders the savior of another Earth in cold blood. Then he uses a super weapon to kill every last thing in that other reality out of pure spite.
Oh my God!
In one instant, he dooms his own utopia.
Oh my, dooms it? Like Dr. Dooms it?
Dr. Doom! Whoa!
Now, to talk on that thing you just said about wouldn't the other Doom know not to talk to himself like that? There's a moment where the other Doom, where he finishes like saying like that silly cape and that silly armor and all that stuff, like you'll leave it behind in time and you'll be the hero of mankind. And Doom holds up a hand as if he's gonna blast the other Victor, and the other Victor goes, "Oh, come on, don't reduce yourself to worthless threats," and Doom just decapitates him with the laser, like instantly dead. Then smashes a window, grabs the super weapon, presses one button, kills everyone, kills his loving family, kills the loving wife, kills every last living being in this perfect utopia that's spread across the entire universe. He
literally could have heisted it. He could have just killed that guy and
it
took all of it.
Could have been his, but it was an insult to him for not being strong enough to change.
I think it's really funny, actually, that this other Doom, like, grew so much as a person and became, like, a better man. And yet, the one thing he never grew out of was assuming that literally everyone else thought the exact same way that he does right now at this moment.
Yes, exactly. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that such an interesting...
Dude,
isn't that so good? He's got to work on that.
His therapist so silly. Like, we've worked on so many other things. This is like lowest priority right now. Is the like I think this doesn't need to be worked on because the genocidal mania kind of like is probably our
he's made
priority.
So much progress. He doesn't want to do therapy anymore. I think we can let it slide.
And that's what kills him. That's what kills him.
I didn't write this in my notes, but there is a subplot where in 616, Doom meets in the main Marvel universe, he meets a woman that is the woman that he marries in the other universe, and he's immediately weird about it. He's like, "No, you don't understand. I in order to get Utopia, we have to get married. Like, I have to marry you." And she's like,
"Hey, man.
You put my reporter dad in jail for speaking out against the regime. No, you fucking psycho. Absolutely not."
A very reasonable response.
Yeah, and at the end of the story, he returns to Latvaria resolute. There will be no future where Doom rejects himself. Not for all the world. Not for all the universe. He decides, in the final moments of the comic, to have that woman's father executed.
Oh my god.
There will not be
really fumbling this.
There will not be a Doom that becomes that version of himself.
Oh my
not
god.
For all the universe.
Oh my god, dude. You really I love it. He's in his doubling down era.
He's really committing to this.
I do gotta say,
Victor, but like, okay.
I really loved this run. It suffers from a little bit of a lack of focus. It starts out with a really cool premise of Doom, like, on the run, which is a super cool thing, and it kind of keeps the consistent through line of him trying to achieve the utopia, but it kind of bounces around and it doesn't spend a lot of time on any specific good idea. But I will say, and it also suffers from kind of an abrupt ending, but it is one of my favorite runs that we've talked about. The writer, Christopher Cantwell, time permitting, really gets Doom. I really like how he writes the character. Couple of extra thoughts. I've put up a panel here of from a recent Venom run where Dr. Doom is, for about 15 minutes or so, trapped in the 1940s Paris, and he spends that time really enjoying blasting the shit out of a lot of Nazis. Just really, like,
one W take, Dr. Doom. Let's go.
Did you believe you would never pay for your crimes? Did you believe justice would never gaze upon you? Time itself has sent me to you, Nazis, to close a loop of history and to wipe you from it. Where is your master race now? As you face the master of all, I bring you your future. Scum, degradation, defeat. Your leader will die by fire. Your red skull, that pathetic bellhop, will fall again and again, laid low by a common brawler. He's just flying around. Legit, they are waiting for a time machine to repair itself, and this is the first you see of him in the 1940s. He's just flying around and blasting Nazis and monologuing at them. It's so fucking good.
Let's fucking go.
This is so funny that it's not even like an important Nazi encampment. I think it's just some guys. But he's got this really dramatic monologue. He's like, "Did you think you would not face justice?" And it's like,
it's legit. He has no context for any. he has no context for any of these guys except for he arrived here and there were Nazis. That's
It's
it.
like, I'm gonna
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah, I've got
That's what
15
you do.
minutes on the clock. I'll say something dramatic and kill a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I'll just pull this one out of my
Why
sleeve.
not?
It's
I've had
in
this one.
older versions of the comics from the 1980s, 1970s era. It was shown that he may have worked for the Nazis before, just by virtue of like it doesn't really make sense, but like in that era, it's like, well, Doom's a bad guy. He works with bad
So he
guys,
has to be a
obviously.
Nazi.
Not to mention the fact that he is canonically one of the only Roma superheroes in all of comics. Period. Like super characters in all of comics. It's him.
Yeesh.
It's him, and I think Dick Grayson. I think
Dick
that's like
Grayson
it.
is yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of
Yeesh.
writers don't really
Forget that. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of writers forget that Dick Grayson is Romani.
Anyway, it's the Venom run's super good. We'll probably do it on this show at some point. I really like it. I talked to
Is Nightcrawler or Mystique
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that Nightcrawler is just straight up German.
Just straight up German.
I'm not certain about that.
Yeah, this is a sidetrack. I'm remembering a panel from the X-Men Encyclopedia, but like
there's a couple of things I just want to go over, kind of a last notes kind of thing. There's a running gag in comics called was it a Doombot all along? Dr. Doom has such an intense mastery of robotics that he builds exact robot duplicates of himself that are so perfect that they all think that they are Doom unless the real Doom is in the room, in which case they recognize him as the real one.
Whoa.
And
real duplicate.
They're so good that they can trick telepaths. That a telepath can read a Doombot and go, well, that's Doom, obviously.
Oh my god. That's
all
cheating.
All the time people will be fighting Doom and they will defeat Doom, but they didn't actually defeat Doom. They defeated a Doombot. It wasn't actually Doom, you know?
So silly.
My god.
It's super fun. There's also, I want to mention Reed Richards' first daughter, Valeria. Dr. Doom, when he was young, had a Romani girlfriend named Valeria, and it did not end well. I think currently in comics, he may have damned her to hell. I don't.
Dude, what's up with this guy?
I think he was trying to save his mom by sacrificing her. I haven't read that story. I didn't put it in my research, so I'm not sure. But
doesn't it suck, ladies, when a guy starts like dating you and he seems like really interested, but it turns out that all he wanted from you was to sacrifice you to the devil to save his mom from hell?
This is catfishing to like a whole other level.
It happens all the time. Ladies, watch out on these dating apps. It'll happen to
be
you
safe. Yeah, be safe out there, ladies.
Be safe out there. Yeah, text your friend your address. Memorize it, and text your friend where you're going. Memorize an incantation. Do what you got to do.
If you share your location and you see that my location is in
Latvaria,
I need you to call someone for me, please.
I don't know who, but you gotta call them.
You gotta call somebody.
The cops
anyway, at one point, canonically, Susan Storm was pregnant with Reed Richards' first child. While she was going into labor, I think she got doused with a shit ton of like super radiation or something from space, and she was dying. And they were going to lose the kid too, and nobody could find Reed. He was just busy, I guess, or something.
He had things to do.
He had things to do.
Stuff to do. Yeah.
So Johnny Storm flies to Latvaria and literally begs Doom to help. He's like, "You are the only other person that I know that has any chance at this. Can you save Susan?" And Doom's like, "Yeah, sure."
Okay.
So he goes over. Sue Storm's like, "Absolutely not." And he's like, "I give you my word. I am here to help you. If I wanted you dead, I would not have shown up at all."
He loves giving his word.
A couple of times.
Yeah. He loves pinky promising so much.
He says, "If I wanted you dead, all I would have had to do is not show up."
That's true.
You know?
I mean, I could also like make her indebted or something, though. There are
so
other
he
things.
He goes, "So to make sure you aren't indebted, I'm going to tell you what my price is right now. if I save your life and if I save your unborn child, I get to name the child. And
That's weird.
she goes, no. And he goes, I
That's
promise I will not
weird.
name her something dumb like Dumalina. I have no interest. I have no interest in naming her something stupid. I promise you, I will legitimately make an attempt to name her. And Sue's
That's
like, all right,
weird.
fine, do it, whatever, fuck.
This is
Fuck.
weird.
Doom
This
it,
is
even.
weird.
So finally, after the delivery, Reed shows up and he's like, oh my God, so sorry, I was busy. I don't know.
I was doing something.
I was doing
damn it.
something.
I was all tied up, one might say. Stretched a little thin.
Stretched a little thin, yeah.
You're
And
getting it, Jen. You understand everything
I'm
about this character
so
now.
funny.
he's like, what? He's like, what happened? And Sue's like, Doom saved me and the kid. And she's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, as long as you're safe, I don't give a shit. I don't
And as
give a
long
shit.
as you
It's
didn't
totally
say
fine.
he could name our kid, then we're all good.
She's like, she says, there's also a condition. And Doom's
What
like,
do you
yeah,
do,
I get to
name our kid?
I get to name your kid. And Reed goes, absolutely not. And Doom goes,
you
I'm
kill
not.
us right now. You kill my wife.
He goes,
so fucking petty. That's so funny.
And Doom goes, I'm not gonna name her Doomalina. I swear. Fuck, guys. I'm going to name her Valeria. And Reed goes, why? And Doom goes, it's enough satisfaction to me that every time you ever look at your wife or hear your daughter's name, you're gonna know that she's alive because I saved her and you weren't here.
This guy is so fucking petty. This guy is so petty, and it's like, and it just proves Megan's interpretation. So it's like he's coping so hard that he couldn't have a kid with this guy, an adopted kid named after his girlfriend. But now he can like project and be like, no, that's also my kid.
Well, take it a step further too, because Valeria Richards ends up being one of the smartest people in the world when she starts getting older, and she and Doom legitimately have a super adorable relationship where Doom does not respect fucking anybody on the planet. There is no one he sees as an equal except Valeria. She calls him Uncle Doom and goes and visits him, and he legitimately like talks to her super nice. There was a panel from Agent of Asgard that I sent Megan the other day that he was working with her on capturing Loki in like a time prison thing. And afterwards she's like, all right, I think that should hold. Can we go for ice cream? And he's like, Doom will consider this.
It's so cute.
I love this so much.
It's legit adorable, and they respect Jonathan Hickman. I didn't read it for this, but Jonathan Hickman just put out I think it's a miniseries. I'm not sure exactly. That's a Doom run where all of the superheroes of Earth have failed against Galactus, and it is just Doom and Valeria are the last two people alive, and they have a really cool dynamic. It's so fucking good. But
that's actually a really fun play on the like grizzled old man and his adopted daughter,
isn't it?
And the apocalypse.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
But Doom and Valeria.
The fact that it's his like, you know,
his enemy's daughter,
Nemesis's daughter. Like they could have easily been like, oh, and you are the spawn of that Reed.
No,
but no,
he
it's
legit,
like, yeah,
he legit loves Valeria. Like it's and Valeria, and even more fucked up, Valeria loves him too. She calls him Uncle Doom. No one else on the Fantastic Four is telling her to do that. Like,
does she like her dad?
Yes.
Do they have an okay relationship?
Here's the thing. They do have an okay relationship. Sometimes she likes him more than other times. It is Reed Richards. Based on everything we've talked about, there's some variation in how good a dad Reed is sometimes.
He's a smart girl. She knows he sucks.
Stretched a little thin.
Especially, I think the Agent of Asgard run was when Valeria was in her preteen phase, like right around the 12, 13 age. And she's definitely like,
that'll do it.
I'm more angry at my mom and dad than usual right now, so I must be being affected by somebody psychically. Like, anyway,
incredible.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and conclude it by opening it up to you guys. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. What do you think on Doom after my 2-hour presentation on the man?
Well, maybe Megan should go first, since
All
Megan
right.
knows about Doom, and we can conclude with me.
You both have the same
non-
information about him now.
No, Megan actually reads comics and stuff.
I don't
Like,
read comics with Doom. I don't give a shit about the Fantastic
but she
Four,
knows
even a little.
objectively more than I do, just by virtue.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, here is what I know about Dr. Doom. He is naked, green machine.
I was thinking more of like your opinions on the man rather than like facts.
No, let her cook. Let her cook. She's cooking.
Is this not like a quiz or something? Like you give me the test answers and then I have to fill out like all of the fact bubbles.
No, sir. It's worse than that. It's an essay prompt.
This is an essay. Oh God, no.
Go, writer. Go, English degree. Go.
I graduated college. I don't have to do this anymore. God. Anyway, I think that Doom should get over Reed
Okay.
Richards.
All right.
Go with Stephen Strange instead.
Yeah.
And also, he should have his silly little daughter Valeria for every other week for visitation rights.
Yeah, for visitation rights. Well, she just leaves and goes and spends time with him. Like,
yeah.
She's so silly. She should continue to do that. And I also think he has issues and problems, and he needs to get over them like real fast. Otherwise, a lot of people are gonna die.
No, you don't understand. He's so sane and normal. Everybody's like how he is. He's just the best at it.
See, I think every therapist who's ever had has seen that problem and gone like, that's not the problem I need to fix. But that's where they're wrong. It's the problem that every therapist doesn't want to fix, and it's the reason why it never works. The therapy never works because every therapist like tosses that one out. We've got bigger problems, but guess where the root is? The root is that tiny little thingy there. That's my thought.
One would say it would be the condemnation of his mother to hell, but he fixed that and he's still fucked up. So
he's still fucked up. It's never just the condemnation to hell. It's always something deeper than that.
Else. Also, be careful what you say, because he blasted a guy.
He did blast a guy.
He did blast. Yeah.
Maybe watch your mouth.
Yeah, watch your fucking mouth, Liam.
I feel like any therapist in a room with Dr. Doom has probably got minutes to live. Like, there's not really.
Like, okay, I'm going to say this, and it's gonna be some hard words.
Think of the two people we went over in this that tried to therapize Doom. It was the Hood and himself, and both of those people ended up blasted.
Yeah. Well.
Oh my god.
What did you think about Dr. Doom, Jen? Do you have more appreciation for the character?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he is so. I know that you started this out going like, oh my god, Dr. Doom, like everyone just, hears a silly name and sees the green guy. He's like just a silly guy. And I'm like, and now at the end of this, I'm like, yeah, he is a silly guy, but he's also very deep and complicated, but he's very. The leap is a silly guy. The leap of like, here I am meeting this version of myself that I could be, and immediately leaping to the conclusion of like, fuck this guy, like that's so stupid, like
not just fuck this guy, but I need to destroy
every single
that he's ever
version. Touched. Yeah, everything he's ever touched, every version of myself cannot be like this guy, and it's just like, can you not accept a little bit of happiness into your heart, sir? Like just like a little bit.
Not if that happiness means humiliation.
In college.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like he's so like tenacious to it's just like me the other day when we were doing that Star Wars Lego puzzle. And it's like he's so determined and so tenacious, but in the wrong direction.
I will become a better person no matter how many people I
kill. It's like, do you not see like how insane? Like that's That's crazy. I love it. I love
He's
him.
a
He's so
fascinating
silly.
character, and
He's so silly.
he's one of those by virtue of not only just being one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe, he is one of those characters that shows up a lot in stuff and is usually really fun. Like in Agent of Asgard, he shows up for a couple of issues and is doing. He has a really cool magic fight in that one where Loki keeps going like, "Hang on, what's going on? What are the rules?" And Doom keeps going like, "Ah, excellent move, but counterpoint."
I
It's a
also
great scene.
legitimately, I think, I mean, I don't know really any other superheroes or characters other than from the Marvel movies. I
Yeah.
think Doctor Doom is probably like up there in my favorites because it's just like he's so silly. He's this guy, he's insane, and his origin story is I need to send the Fantastic Four back in time to go steal Blackbeard's treasure for me. And it's like, how can a perfect character exist? I didn't think it was possible. But he's here.
When I committed to doing this, I was going to do a bunch of little stories and I was only going to really focus on Triumph and Torment. And I had never read that first appearance before. I read that. That was the first story I read for this. I got halfway through that and I went, "Oh, I need to completely change the direction of how I'm doing this entire thing. I need to talk about this."
It's like he's perfect in every single way. He's perfect. His origin story, everything. Like there's nothing. I love him. He's yeah.
Yeah.
Silly green guy with lots of problems and issues and depth. And he's very silly.
And
the guy ever.
I think with that will conclude our first episode of On With The Motley.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is in a lot of ways a pilot, so the format may change a little bit. We might add some structure or take away some structure in the future. We're not sure what our next episode's going to be. I am most likely going to do another comic book character, but I know Megan's well into their research for a subject that they want to work on, and Jen is very excited to do a Cookie Run Kingdom episode, which we're all very excited for.
And worried. I can feel the worry in your voice when you say it. I'm so excited.
Oh, it's nothing but enthusiasm, I swear. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to get at least one episode out a month, but we might increase or dial that back depending on how much work it ends up being. But thank you so much for joining us. I've been our ringleader today. I'm Liam. We've got Jen joining us and Megan as well.
Jen and Jen. Yep.
Jen and second Jen.
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed. All right, everybody say bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Doom doom.
Doug Dimmadole. Over the Zale Dimmadole.
Doom.
Dum diggadoo. Dum diggadoo.
Dum diggadoo.
Dum diggadoo. Over the diggadoo.
No.